对，中文听得到。
Hello.
Shadow,
Okay.
Shadow, we can hear you, Shadow.
Okay. I just
Shadow,
okay.
please
Now, can you hear
set
me?
the interpretation to English.
Yeah. How are you, sir? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I can
Yes.
hear. Okay. 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 Sadhu. Okay.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
I can hear you. Sure. Okay. Sadhu.
𝐸𝐻, are you ready to start the Dhamma talk now?
Sure, I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Sadhu, sadhu. Wantami 𝐸𝐻, Bante, 𝐸𝐻, and good evening, everyone. Good morning for everyone in the West Hemisphere. Welcome to the lesson on Visuddhimagga, patisambhidamagga, and commentaries. Today, 𝐸𝐻 will repeat lesson 65, which was not completed during the last lesson. Today's session is scheduled to last about 2 hours, with 1.5 hours on coursework and the remaining 30 minutes on question and answer. May we now respectfully invite 𝐸𝐻 to start the teaching, and may we invite the interpreter Bante to start the translation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. Can I will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay, now we have to talk about Tamasana Jnana. As we have explained before, then we have to start off with the special practice of Sarana Madat. So, take the Chinese interpretation. I can hear also.
Bante?
So now, when we talk about Tamasana Jnana, there are many different methods. We have already explained 5 aggregate methods. So today we are going to talk about Salarana method. We can also understand there are many different types of ayana. We also can say bases. Internal basics, also we have external bases. So when we are going to practice, then there are bases in every single mind moment. For example, when we are seeing something, Chakupasara, iron translucency, is the internal base. Then Rupa, the color or visible object, can be external. Then we also have Chakuvinyana, iron consciousness. Actually, when we have these 3, we can also say accidental arising of these 3 is there's also Chaku Sampasa, iron contact. Actually, iron consciousness and iron contact will arise together. Not only that, number 5, Chaku Sampasaja Vedana. Feeling arising from eye contact. Whether the feeling that can arise from eye contact can be pleasant or unpleasant or neutral ubhaka. So when we are going to contemplate, we have to contemplate all of them as anicca, impermanent. We say either way. For example, iron translucency is also anicca. Visible object is also anicca. Eye consciousness is also anicca. Eye contact is anicca. Vedana arising from contact also anicca. Seeing also contemplate as a dukkha. These are the way we have to practice when we are going to discern Sarana method. Then not only that, we can also continue to practice all other mental process. For example, ear mental process, nose mental process, chan mental process, body mental process, also mind mental process. In every single mental process, we can also know all these mental factors and all the nama rupas as objects. So this is the first part we have to know, or we have to understand as anicca, dukkha, anatta. So we also have to proceed the next part. It will be about contemplation. The next one. So when we are going to talk about anicca, there are many anicca. And here we have already list out. Anicca means impermanence, very clear already. Sankata, condition. So when we talk about condition, there can be different conditions for mentalities and different conditions for example, when we talk about materialities, it can be like the weather. It also can be food. It also can be dhamma. It also can be citta, consciousness. So there are many different types of conditions. They are called sankata. Similarly, for mentality, there are many conditions. For example, object, associated metaphysics, and base, and many different things. That is the paticca samuppada, dependent arising. So we can also understand cause arising. If there's the cause, there's the effect. Then some of them are present cause, some of them are past causes. So anyway, without cause, they cannot arise. That's why we can say samuppada, dependent arising. Then again, kaya dhamma, subject to engine. So we can also say it is destroyed or passing away. Another one is vaya dhamma, subject to decay. Although we have different names, kaya, vaya, viraga, nirodha, actually, synonym. So vaya dhamma also subject to decay. Viraga dhamma. So whenever we talk about viraga dhamma, we can also remember one part of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Right? Esaṁ tanhanam, Assa viraga nirodho, for example, we have that one, right? Assa viraga. That means passing away or fading away without any remainder. It's also called nirodha dhamma. Anyway, yeah, viraga dhamma also said to fade away or fading away. Nirodha dhamma subject to cessation. These are the definitions of anicca. Why called anicca? So when we understand all these things, this really called anicca. So after understanding anicca, we also have to continue dukkha. Because we also know anicca, dukkha, anatta, right? Continuously. So we have different types of dukkha, suffering. The first one is dukkha, also called physical pain, kayika dukkha. That arises from painful bodily sensation, dukkha sagata kaya viññāna. So that means body consciousness, right? Then it will arise together with body consciousness. The mental suffering, cetasika vedana, because of the cetasika dukkha, associated with anger, dosa. We can also understand like unpleasant feeling in our mind. It is inherently true suffering. Both it is the nature and by its name. Therefore, they are called dukkha, meaning direct suffering. So we can also say real suffering. We can experience practically. We have another one, viparinama dukkha, number 2. Actually, when we say viparinama dukkha, This is the pleasant sensation or pleasant feeling, sukha vedana. Eventually lead to suffering due to their impermanent and fleeting nature. So because they undergo change and lead to dissatisfaction, they are referred to as Visuddhimagga dukkha, meaning the suffering that arises from change. Okay, now we should say easier way or easier example for it. For example, if we have group right picnic or group traveling, if all of us are united, we can feel happy. If some of our members are very bad or make some trouble, all the happiness will change to unpleasant feeling. So similar in every single happiness can change to suffering as long as it is a really happiness. Sankhara suffering, the next one. This is called Sankhara. So in the case of Sankhara, then and any condition phenomena within the three realms, Visuddhimagga. Okay, we can say Visuddhimagga means sensual realms, material realms, immaterial realms are called Visuddhimagga. So they are also called conditions. They are also called suffering. Just do inherent suffering of conditions is Sankhara dukkha. So all conditioned things are subject to cycle of arising and cessation. They are constantly being operated the pain of impermanence. So one more thing here, not quite clear for everybody. The first one, Dukkha dukkha, very clear. Abhinama dukkha, if change, also very clear. Sankhara dukkha. When we have inside knowledge, we can understand clearly because this is more neutral in our daily life. Sometimes even we cannot feel it as a suffering. Anyway, they all are called suffering. Therefore, these are called sankhara dukkha, suffering of all conditioned formation. So briefly, we can understand dukkha. Then another adina. So one more thing here, right? Adina means repulsives. External repulsiveness of thoughts and internal body part. They are called. So to time in Buddha teaching, so Nawa Nubasi. Wow. Okay, now when we are going to train Adina, are also some detailed explanation about meditation. On one's own living body. So that means if a practitioner reflects on repulsiveness of their own body, this reflection can lead to the attainment of Abhanajana for absorption of jhana, neighborhood concentration. We talk about targeted paths before. Like the body or internal body part, we can attain air body. We can also attain patisambhidamagga. If we can the patisambhidamagga. So at least if we can attain jhana, we can also accept concentration. No. Another thing is when meditating on traditional focus on the process of someone's living body, only are going to attain.
𝐸𝐴𝐷.
Hello?
Yes, 𝐸𝐴𝐷, we can hear you, but we cannot turn on your video.
Okay.
Yes, 𝐸𝐴𝐷 connection.
Okay, our connection. Wow. I'm gonna see screen share also now.
Oh.
Oh. So you can hear anyway, right?
Yes, 𝐸𝐴𝐷, we can hear you, but we cannot turn on your video.
It's okay. So I will turn on my video.
Yes, 𝐸𝐴𝐷.
That is, I cannot see slideshow. Okay. Oh. Cannot see also.
𝐸𝐴𝐷, can we send the notes to 𝐸𝐴𝐷, the PowerPoint notes to 𝐸𝐴𝐷 through the Viber?
How about see? Hello?
Yes, 𝐸𝐴𝐷.
You can see. Hello?
Yes, 𝐸𝐴𝐷.
Actually, I have a note. It's okay. Right? I have a note. It's
Yes.
screen share in your.
Pandit Para is sharing the PowerPoint. So can we send the notes to 𝐸𝐴𝐷? 𝐸𝐴𝐷 can refer in your phone.
hear me again? Hello?
Yes, Sayadaw.
Oh, line. Okay, so we can use, right? You can see screen sharing.
Yes, Sayadaw.
Okay, I cannot see screen sharing. It's okay. I will continue.
Yes, Sayadaw.
Okay. So now we have to talk about living asubha. Previously, which part 12?
Sayadaw, the previous slide.
Another person, external one.
Yes.
When meditating on the in contrast, when the practitioner focus on the responsiveness of someone else's living body, they cannot attain apana jhana or vichara jhana. That means if we are focusing on the 32 body parts of another person, although we trying very hard, we cannot attain any jhana. Even we cannot attain asset concentration. So these are two different conditions, internal one and external one. So when we talk about asubha, we must not neglect talking about living asubha. So we also have living asubha. So number one, positive nature of the 32 body parts. This is also called living asubha. So that's why we must, when we are going to practice 32 body parts meditation, we must feel very positive. We must feel as asubha. I already mentioned there can be different conditions, attaining jhana or not attaining jhana. Two, the repulsive nature of body and then insect. So here, when we talk about 30 body parts or the body full of worms, there are also some explanation. Number best. Another thing is many inside the body, many bacteria inside the body. They are our body also home for worms and insects, bacteria. So also they are living whole, they are symmetry. When they pass away, our body is their symmetry. Then similarly, have new generation, like for example, they may also have that they may also give birth to new insect or new bacteria. This is also hospital of bacteria. Because of the repulsive of this body, by recollecting full of worms and bacteria or insect in this body. The three, repulsiveness nature of material. Here in this part, we have to explain many different things. For example, is dukkha or having full auto, right? This is one of the conditions to understand. Another thing is asuchi, being in disgust. This is also called the nature of material in this body. Bhayati, being subject to illness or sickness. So having this body, a lot of sickness. Being subject to the ultimate agent, like marana, being subject to death. This also can be a state of passing away of every single material. They have this kind of nature. That's why this are also called living asubha. This is the first part we have to know. As we have mentioned before, it also can be dead body, right? So corpse, according we have some chapter of 9 channel in Satipatthana Sutta. According to all these sutta, or all the information, we can also practice asava meditation by seeing. They are actually non-living asava. Asava can be in our body, external one. Okay, after that, we have to continue about origination. Actually, many different ways of dependent origination according to Samyutta Nikaya. Actually, many other part of what I teach also mention different types of dependent origination. So when we talk about, then we also have to know many different methods. The first one is avijja, paccaya, vijnana, and so on. This is common in our daily life. Even in our daily chant, we can also know these types of other types of dependent origination according to Samyutta Nikaya or in other many Nikaya. The main thing is here, because of arising of avijja, avijja is also anicca, sankhara is also anicca. This is an example. So we must see really a person of which the same life. So in this life, we have accumulated many good and bad karma according to our wish, also caused by avijja, ignorance. Avijja is also mental process. Sankhara is also mental process. As avijja is also passing away, anicca. Sankhara is also arising and passing away in the process. After that, we can also understand as anicca dukkha anatta. So we have to contemplate all other dependent origination, not only avijja, right? We can also say sankhara paccaya vijnana, vijnana paccaya nama rupa, and all 12 types of dependent origination. All 12 factors of dependent origination. We can also continue talking about anicca dukkha anatta. It will be too wide. We also have explained dependent origination before. That's why I will not elaborate too much. So in the case of Maggāmaggañāṇa, there are also many different methods. We have to talk about 42. Okay, now I should introduce why we call 42. There are 4 types of contemplation in door. Now here in the note, you can see anicca, right? But in the original text, it will mention anicca door. Number 2 also mention paloka, right? We can find as a paloka door in the original text. So there are 10 types of impermanence. We can say 10 aspects of impermanence or definitions of impermanent anicca. So when we are going to talk about anicca, we have to understand these 10 types, one after another. I cannot guarantee I can finish all 40 in this Dhamma talk. 2 works. Many things to explain in this part. Okay, now we have to start. Anicca, impermanent, having 2 points, arising and passing away. So every single mentalities and materialities, there are 2 parts. Arising stage, after that, they also pass away. That's when they are called anicca. So before arising, they don't need to prepare. They don't have any kind of state of preparation or anything. They are present way also. They don't have any other remaining specialty or anything. As pathway simply. So another thing is okay, when we pass away as a human being, right? After passing away, we have dead body. In the case of Namarupa, after passing away, no more dead body. Then no more remaining. That's when they are called nature. If we summarize, before rising, animal or dead locator due to its static or dissolving nature. So we must also understand a few things about it. In Pali, we can also say Palokami, Vyadi, sickness, is also a status stage. Aging, this is also a kind of status stage. The Marana, death, this is a passing away or a perishing stage. The Namarupa have the nature of Vyadi, Jara, and Marana. That's when they are called Palokato. Otherwise, Talato, that means unstable due to greed and aversion caused by worldly condition. Okay, here we should think about worldly conditions. As we have already mentioned, aging, death, or something, right? But here we also talk about bodily condition. So, for example, gay and faith. This make our mind. If we gay, of course we become greedy, right? If we lost or if we have failure, aversion, discomfort in our mind. Suddenly, having many friends, companions, although it can cause great attachment. If we lost relatives, friends, companions, attendants, you can be sorry. So actually it comes from engage. And that kind of thing. Companions or anybody characterized by bodily condition. Similarly, happiness and suffering, they are bodily conditions. So these bodily conditions make us unstable. Also, it can be the cause of greed and aversion. We can also say lobha and dosa. They are called chala, unstable. Now that is it. Papangu, fragile, easily broken by external or internal causes. So this is also very simple. We have many internal causes, such as aggregate internally. We have many other internal conditions, many other internal causes. Similarly, many other external causes. Like for example, weather, temperature, anything, right? Also, we can also say food, everything. Internally, like a mind. So the cause of feel, they are also easily broken. That's why we call papangu. We have the next one, adua. Not substantial or unstable. Now, for example, we see a young fruit in the tree. Gradually, the tree can bigger, it ripen, then its stem is not strong enough to bear. Gradually it becomes ripen, so the stem becomes weaker. It will fall from the branch or stems. Similarly, our body also changing from childhood to older age gradually. This is called adua. So if we say easier way, this is subject to decline, although subject to downfall. That's why it's called adua. Next one is a viparinama. So viparinama also subject to change constantly, transforming from agent to death. So it also can be ultimate reality, agent channel state or state of state. That also can be passing away or perishing state. It's always changing, constantly changing, very rapidly changing. That's what they are called viparinama. So that means out of our control, right? It will change constantly, rapidly. Then we have the next one, 7. Saraka. Without essence, easily destroys like form. So here I will say another way. That there's no essence mean, okay, we should talk about the simile here. We talk about form, right? No essence. If it will smash easily. Not only that, because we have another simile, like subwood. Okay, here I should elaborate a few more things about the tree, right? In the tree, we have a layer, the top bark. After removing that, we have subwood. After removing subwood, we can get hardwood. Okay, here asaraka means no hardwood. Sara also can be hardwood, right? Like only subwood or like a bark. Very easy to smash, very easy to destroy. That's what they are called asaraka. So we can also say it's very weak. Compared to hardwood, hardwood is a very weak, very soft. How is the strongest in the tree? We can also understand that no solidity of this body. They are very easy to perish. That's why they are also called asaraka. Okay, now we also have to talking about vibhava, prone to destruction. Stop arising only after destruction of its causes. Ignorance, craving, clinging, formations, and karma. So we also have many explanations of this kind of cause apparition. For example, we don't have any attachment to this body, no more tanha. So, for example, anagami still have bhavadana, attachment to life. That's one future life. Arhat, no more attachment to life. That's why no more future existences. So there's a no more attachment to the life, or no more craving, at the same time, no more ignorance, no more clinging, then they don't have any new karma and new formations. That's why no more new life. Okay, if we summarize, the causes also perish totally, completely, without any remainder. The result, the aggregate, also perish or cease without any remainder. That's why it's called vibhava. Then we also have the next one, marana dhamma, subject to death. We can also say dissolution. So that one's very clear, only passing away or cessation. We don't need to talk about too much, right? We have already mentioned marana dhamma many times before. 10 sankata, conditions formed by combining causal factors. So here we have many different causes of nama rupa. Some of them are janaka hetu, the producing cause. Some of them are upatamaka hetu, supporting cause. So when we have these two causes, then they will produce nama rupa continuously. That's what I call sankata dhamma. In the very beginning of today's Dhamma talk, when we talk about anicca, we also have to know sankata, right? I have already mentioned before. For example, in the case of rupa, karma also can be the cause, producing cause. Chitta also can be producing cause. Then Utu, temperature, can be both producing cause, also can be sometimes supporting cause of the body. Nutrient also can be producing cause, it also can be supporting cause. Mostly in the case of rupa, temperature is if with a temperature produce motility, right? It can be only producing cause. Okay. Similarly, in the case of nama, there are many producing causes, supporting causes. So you also have to know all the conditions. Actually, we have already talked about cause and effect relationship before, so we can also review that one. So these are 10 anicca. We got understand 10 definitions of anicca. So when we are going to practice vipassana, in these types of contemplation, we have to use high aggregate method. For example, materiality is also anicca. Feeling aggregate also anicca. Perception aggregate also anicca. Formation aggregate is also anicca. Consciousness aggregate is also anicca. Similarly, paloka, material aggregate is also paloka. Feeling aggregate is also paloka. Perception aggregate is also paloka. Formation aggregate is also paloka. Then consciousness aggregate is also paloka. We have to contemplate all these 10 anicca one by one for all the aggregates. So you can also imagine how long it will take. There are many things to do. Actually, in the very beginning, I have already mentioned, we also have to talk about internally, externally, present, past, future, all the 11 categories. We can also do the same here. Okay, now we will continue talking about dukkha. There are 25 aspects of suffering, dukkha. So here we have a dukkha, suffering due to constant oppression by rising and passing away, and being basis of suffering. So that means they arise and vanish. This also annoying us, we can say, right? Annoying us. Here I don't have that kind of slideshow, right? Okay, when I talk about some part of anicca in the body retreat, I just give photo, right? Arise and vanish very rapidly, but I cannot make it very fast because this is a gift, right? Limited. Okay, anyway, the main thing is, for example, we are going to catch something. Before we catch it, pass away already, just annoying us. So here we can say operation by arising and passing away. So we have already mentioned different types of dukkha before. Dukkha, right? We can say bodily pain or mental pain. Vibhinama dukkha, this is a pleasant feeling, but it changes to suffering. Due to loss of pleasant feeling, we have to suffer, right? Another sankhara dukkha, we have already mentioned, this is a neutral feeling. All these are also included in dukkha here. So raga. So when we say raga, we can also say this is a disease, as it requires balancing of causal factors and also is the source of illness. So there are many different conditions for illness. We also have already known, right? Some illness cannot cure our whole life. Chronic, right? Yes. So that means we have some supporting causes. Of course, it will last long, right? Rather than we will last long. No more supporting causes, no more producing causes, it will finish. Okay, if we say easier way, this is very similar to chronic sickness. That's why they are called raga. So that means we have rise and passing away of nama rupa in this body. Since we were born, we have already like chronic sickness. Although we pass away, we will be reborn in new life. They will follow the same. Like chronic sickness in the samsara. This is called raga. Another one is agha. Misery, as it is concealed by noble ones, brings harmful consequences and is the basis for unwholesome states. Okay, this is also one other thing. Based on this body, right? Based on this body, we have many wholesome states. We also accumulate many good things. We also accumulate many bad things. So mostly mind delight in evil. Okay, if we say another way, we will do evil more than wholesome. That's why the result will be very harmful. That's why this body brings harmful consequences. This is called agha. Similarly, we have ganta, boy. As the higher divine suffering oaks with defilements and mature through rising and persisting and passing away. We can also understand rising, standing, and passing away. So here in the case of defilements, actually this is the object of defilements. This body is the object of defilements. Okay, when we have boils, right, it will oaks many liquids, right, from the body. It becomes, we can say, disgusting, right? Disgusting. But this body also produce defilements. The object of defilements. That is why this is called Ganta. Then, although they are also mature through rising, standing, and passing away. Another one is Sanla, arrows. It's the cause of affliction internally, fires, what's arising and passing away, and it's difficult to remove due to craving and wrong view. Okay, here we should elaborate the simile a little bit more. So that means how to remove. This is, I already mentioned, like an arrow in this body, right? We are stuck with arrow in this body. Also, we can say internally biased. But how to remove? Here, because of craving and wrong view, we cannot remove easily. Right? It's only Nova 84 parts. We got so, and it's like a surgical tool, right? There's like a surgical tool. So then we have to make some surgery. Then we have to use Nova 84 parts. Without that, we cannot remove. That's why this is called Stanla. Okay, now we have to move the next one. Avada. Avada is also your affliction, as it depends on external causes and is the source of severe illness. So that means if we are very seriously ill, if we have very serious illness, we cannot stand by ourselves, we cannot walk, we cannot lie down, even we cannot sleep. That kind of thing also can happen in our body. Similarly, all the aggregates cannot arise by their own power. Right? They are some supporting causes. That's when, for example, when we are going to walk, one element suppose or force us to move. That is why there are external causes also. For example, weather. If too hot, also we cannot walk. We don't want to walk. Sometimes we feel faint because of too much heat. Sometimes even we can be unconscious, right? Now I have got some news, very hot in China, right? Then some of them faint, feel faint. Some of them collapse. So that means all the external causes also happen. Okay, the main thing is every single posture, then we also need many different causes. That's when they are avada, like sickness. Upadova, calamity, as it brings various unforeseen harmful results and is the basis for various oppressive calamities. Okay, here we have already mentioned unforeseen harmful. Okay, there are many unforeseen. For example, threat or punishment of the king or government or something. Another thing is agent, also unforeseen, right? Similarly, sickness, unforeseen. Death also unforeseen. Similarly, any other suffering, unforeseen. So he also mentioned like a leaves blow by the wind. So sometimes the wind is just subtle, like a freezing. At the time, the leaf will just move gently. It won't become very strong, like a thunderstorm. It becomes very strong, the leaf will fall. Also, we can say it comes from external. That's what we call upadova. but also can say understand as a danger. Okay, that means there are many different danger, unforeseen danger. That's why it's called Ubadava. But yeah, fear. As is like a bit of various danger, and it's direct opposite of the most peaceful Nibbana. This one's clear. Right? When we can attain Nibbana, no more danger. Then before attaining Nibbana, we have danger. This is called Baya. Okay, ED. This is also really danger, as it brings any adversity, such as rising and passing away, and etc. So this also very clear already. We don't need to talk about too much, right? We have already said rising and passing away many times. Upasaka, obstacle, as it's connected with various harmful things and is entangled with defilements like greed, hatred, either as objects or associated mental state. Here we should say a few things. Entangled with defilements like greed or hatred, just example, right? There can be many other defilements. Another thing is this aggregate are also object of defilement. That means we also have like a mental state, like mental aggregate. They also arise together with greed and hatred and defilements. That's why they are called obstacle, upasaka. Then sometimes we can also say they have direct contact with defilements. If we say association, right? We get a direct contact. Then another thing is adana, without protection. And it is difficult to maintain once arising and cannot provide safety. So that means naturally they will arise and perish. That's why it's out of our control. We cannot provide any safety for them. This is also one of the reasons. Then sometimes, although we're trying to protect with clinging and also desire or attachment, but it cannot be protected from perishing. So it will not follow our desire. Although we desire to protect, although we attachment to it, we cannot protect. Alena, without shelter, as it is unworthy of dependence due to oppression by arising and passing away, and cannot provide refuge from suffering. So this is also similar to previous one, right? We cannot provide refuge. Asarana, so without refuge, as is lack the nature to eliminate aging, sickness, death, and is an line of danger. So this is also similar to previous one. We don't need to talk about too much. Udaka, murderous, as it personally kill, is intimate at every moment of dissolution. Okay, one more thing. Yeah, what does that mean? We are our close friends. Although we trust him very well, although we trust him too much, but he's planning to kill or planning to murder us. This is the nature of aggregate. We are very familiar to aggregate. So similarly, at the same time, we are also arising and passing away every time. Like close friend is killing us. This is also called Vadaka. Akamula, root of misery, as it is the source of unwholesomeness and suffering. So that means we also have many suffering caused by ignorance. This is also one of the suffering. Not only that, we also have like a craving, clinging, and many other causes. That's when they are cause of misery, cause of suffering. We also call akamula. Then again, adinava, drawback. As suffering arises due to becoming and suffering itself as fault. People say the dangerous defects. And they are, the other ideas are dangerous defects. That's when they are called adinava. Sasava, with outflows, as it is the immediate cause, object of asava, mental affluence. Okay, here you may have already known the Pali word asava. And kamasava, because it's intoxicant, right? Pleasure, intoxicate with pleasure. Bhavasava, intoxicate with attachment to the life. Asava, intoxicate with wrong view, which asava with ignorance. So this aggregate are also the object of asava. We can say object of mental intoxicant. That's called sasava. Actually, when we elaborate asava, there can be many other things also. Then we also have already mentioned before, like it's like a fermented, long-time fermented intoxicant. This is called asava. Okay, now here we have another one, 80, maramisa. Mara's bait. And it is prey of the Mara of defilements and Maras of death. Actually, we have different types of Mara. For example, Khanda Mara aggregate. Then we also have Kilesa Mara, defilements, Machu Mara, death, Sankara Mara, formation. But now here, it just mentioned only defilements and death, a commentary. So this body is the prey of defilements and death. That's why I call Maramisa. Dukkha. And the remaining analysis of dukkha is very simple and easy. Jadi Dhamma, subject to birth, having the nature of arising. Then Jara Dhamma, subject to aging, having the nature of decay. This is also equal to destructive. Jadi Dhamma, subject to illness, having the nature of sickness. Then subject to sorrow, having the nature of grief. If we talk about grief, we have to lose something. If we have loss of wealth, loss of health, we have to suffer, right? We may have grief. But here, this body also, the subject of sorrow, subject to sorrow. Then similarly, Parideva Dhamma, subject to lamentation, having the nature of wailing. Ubayasa Dhamma, subject to despair, having the nature of intense distress. I mean, very strong stress. We got to say despair. Then finally, we have Sankilesa Dhamma, subject to defilements, being the object of defilements, also defining states like craving and a wrong view. So these are the definitions of dukkha. So as I have mentioned, when we are going to contemplate purification as a dukkha, we can also use all these 20 different definitions, one after another. As usual, we can also discern internally, externally, present, past, future, and all the 11 categories. Okay, now we have the last part for today's Dhamma talk about anatta. There are 5 aspects of non-self, anatta. So we have to explain anatta one by one. Then we have the first one, anatta, not self. It's a lack of self as an owner. Okay, here we just say onami sami atta. So this body belong to somebody, this atta belong to somebody. If we believe or if we understand like this is called sami atta. Or we can also say this atta belong to me. This is also called sami atta. This atta belong to God. This is also sami atta. This atta belong to Brahma. This is also sami atta. Similarly, dweller, nivasi. Nivasi means how we pass away. Right? The atta inside this body will move to another body. So then when we are living, atta will live inside this body. Or in this body. When we pass away, the atta will change to another body. He will dwell another body. This one they are called dweller. This is also called nivasi atta. Duwa means karaka atta. Karaka means, for example, when we do something good or bad, this is atta. Atta will do good and bad. Yes, we don't do it, only our atta do it. This is also called karaka atta. Similarly, feeler. Then we also call in Bali vedaka atta. Vedaka means, for example, when we feel blessed or unblessed, it doesn't, that means we doesn't feel that one. That means we doesn't feel good and bad. This, it just atta feet. That's what we call feeler, vedaka atta. Another controller, or we can also say manager, adhitayaka. In this body, there's atta. The atta will control this body, or the atta will manage. Okay, use eye. Eye, you must see it. Ear, you must listen. Nose, you must smell. Atta will manage to do this and that and many things. This is all adhitayaka. We say anatta, we don't have this guy, all 5 types of atta: owner, dweller, doer, feeler, or controller. Lack of all these atta. This is called atta. We must get right. Another thing is para, alliance. As it doesn't follow one's wish and cannot be arranged, not to age, not get sick, not die. It's like a stranger. That's why it's not words. Another one is or devoid of the imagined quality of permanence, duty, and self. Okay, here we should say quality. Write down, right? So, I mean, in this book, there's no any special qualification or any specialty as we have imagined. Or there's like a permanence quality. Similarly, happiness in the duty of self. I mean, no more. Imagine that on this book. Right? One is a future voids. As is like any inner essence of permanence, happiness, concept or attractiveness. Okay. Then you may also have known some Baliwa Tutami useless. Here we also translate as a void. Okay, now the sunyata, hollow, as it is devoid of quality imagined by believers in sub-theory, such as owner, dweller, doer, feeler, or controller. I explained all the owner, dweller, doer, feeler before, right? So that's why this is called sunyata. So sometimes there's many different definitions of sunyata. Actually, many different conditions of sunyata according to Buddha teaching. In the case of vipassana, this is the basics of sunyata. Before that, we also have 4-element meditation. If we can know 4 elements in this body or externally, we can also feel sunyata. There's only 4 elements, no other materiality, no other elements or no living things. There's also sunyata. Anyway, in the case of vipassana, this is the first step we have to understand as anatta. Okay, if we say Yahweh, anatta is also sunyata. If we know the anatta, this is really called sunyata. So they are called 42. Now we have mentioned 10 types of anicca, 25 types of dukkha, 5 types of anatta, altogether 40. So we also call 42. So according to Magga, we can find all these 40 methods. So that means when we are practicing all these 42 methods, we have to use 5 brigades. So we can also do separately, one by one. For example, anicca, material brigades, anicca, paloga, like this. We can do one by one. Or we can also do feeling of the as anicca, feeling as anicca. Right? We can also do 5 brigades one after another. Just only one nature of anicca. Similarly, we can also do like perception brigades, formation brigades, consciousness aggregates, anicca, like this. Baloga, we can do all 5 brigades one after another. We can also do, after signing all 5 one by one, we can also design all 5 brigades as anicca, baloga, like this. As we have mentioned before, we also have to do internally, externally, future, all the 11 categories. So these are called Sarasana detailed methods. To know more in detail, we have to do all the tools. We cannot know which nature is very clear to us. For example, although nature, we design nature, right? It's not quite clear to us. Okay, for example, for some meditator, Paloka will be obvious. For some meditator, Chala will be obvious. We have different preference, different parami. There can be different clear factors, clear contemplation. Similarly, we can also talk about all the 25 suffering. We cannot know which one will be obvious for us. Try all of them, one after another. And all the 5 methods, one after another. We don't know which one will be the most obvious for our practice. Our parami, different clear subjects. Then we can also practice for parami, for remaining factors also, remaining contemplation also. Okay, today I will stop here. In Vipassana, we have many different methods to practice. Then I have mentioned many times, for some meditator, the word I use five aggregate method. For some meditator, the word also use fact-based method. For some meditator, word also use 18 dhatu method. According to their conditions, the word give different instructions. So we don't know which one is better for us. We've been trying all the methods. If we can find the best way to keep doing it, it will be for our attainment. Okay, may you all be able to practice 3 trainings, and may you all be able to realize final cessation and no suffering.
Thank you, Sayadaw. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sayadaw, may we proceed to the
Okay.
Q&A session?
Okay, we can start.
Okay. Dear participant, you may send your question to the Zoom chat, or you may raise your hand if you have any question. Sayadaw, we shall read from the slide first. Okay. Question 1. Wandami Sayadaw, if upon seeing a corpse or body parts infested with worms and insects, one feels fear rather than repulsive, would it be appropriate for that person to practice Asubha meditation at that time? When fear arises instead of repulsiveness during the practice, how should one proceed? Continue, switch object, or develop another supporting meditation? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, here in this case, fear, different types of fear. For example, have urgency. This is also a kind of fear. This is something you scare, right? You just scare of see. This is not really called samvega, sense of urgency. Okay, if it is a sense of urgency, okay, you can keep doing reversible meditation. If you scare because of seeing dead body, you may see you may be scared of ghost or something, right? At the time, come and do the one. You should move to another subject, right? The next one.
Thank you, Sayadaw. Question 2. Wandami Sayadaw, among the 10 aspects of impermanence, 25 aspects of suffering, and 5 non-self, should we contemplate all at once or focus on one aspect depending on which is most clearly perceived? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, for practitioners, I recommend to do all of them one by one, right? After that, sometimes, for example, you may have very strong understanding of, okay, when you are internally become very strong disposable, about another explanation, right? You can choose the strongest one. Okay. In the very beginning, we recommend to do all the doors one after another. When instant knowledge become mature, okay, you can choose the best one, obvious one. Okay.
Thank you, Sayadaw.
Next one.
Question 3, Wandami Sayadaw, how do we bring the 40 toes insight into moment-to-moment vipassana practice without turning it into mere thought reflection? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, here in this case, if you can really see a gauge, horizon and passing away, then you can also know among the individual, some don't relate to you because you follow me, right? So you have to try to understand. If you don't understand all you do many times, okay, skip that one, do another one. Okay. Next one.
Sayadaw. Question 4. Wandami Sayadaw, sometimes neutral feelings feel like nothing. How can one perceive the subtle oppression or unsatisfactoriness of neutral feeling?
Sometimes people just think about feeling, right? Actually, although we say feeling, in this case, you must know aggregate. Not if you think about feeling in daily life, it will be just right. Neutral feeling in daily life is very difficult to perceive. But if we can know ultimate or reality, you can also know arising and passion away. It will be easier to understand. Okay.
Thank you, Sayadaw.
礼
Chinese
敬
question.
霞罗，既然观想他人身体的厌恶不尽无法证得禅那，那么是否更为善巧的直接专注于观自己的身体，而省略对外在身体的关照？为何需修习内在与外在身体的不尽呢？沙度沙度沙度。
Okay, good question, right? Sometimes we swallow our saliva, right? We don't feel reverse internally, right? What about you have to swallow other people's saliva? You need asana, right? To feel reversive. Okay, similarly, if our skin tear off, we don't cook, we don't eat. Then if you see chicken skin, you will eat, right? See internal one as a reversive. We don't see internal one as a reversive. Sometimes we see as a reversive, we don't see internal as a reversive, right? So it can be changeable. That's why we have to train both in order to have less attachment to external one. Okay. The next one.
礼敬霞多，一，在观照缘起法时，应专注于每一个支分的生灭过程，还是观察整个缘起流的无常本质？二，若在缘起法中某一支分升起对无常的如实观照，是否足以破除身见？若可以，哪一支分最适合初学者修观？沙度沙度沙度。
Okay. The first one is all the 20. Sorry, the first one. Okay. 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 Actually, in the case of Visuddhimagga, we cannot say only anga, right? There can be conditions in different meditation, different insight knowledges. For example, now we are talking about samasana jnana. In the case of samasana jnana, we have to discern cause and effect relationship. Avijja, paccaya, sankhara. Avijja is the cause, sankhara is the effect. So also arising and passing away. Sankhara also arising and passing away. We have to do all link in the different origin. It has only one. Okay, now back to you also mentioned, right? Can we do only one anga, right? Which are the more probably more important? We cannot say which are the more important. All the factors are important. But in the case of dependent origination, it's not Sakaya Ditti. It's 𝐏𝐭𝐢𝐬𝐚. Okay? So we must overcome wrong view. Although we must overcome doubt about past and future. So by understanding Namarupa in detail, we can overcome identity. This is the first step. After that, we have to understand their causes as we mentioned in dependent origination. It can be 𝐾𝐭𝐢𝐬𝐚. Okay? So that's why we have to do all the 12 links, 12 factors, and their connection. Okay? Next one.
Thank you, Sayadaw. Question 7. Wandami Sayadaw. How can one progress from merely understanding anatta on an intellectual level to directly realizing it through experience, particularly in terms of seeing that there is no controller or doer? During contemplation, if there still appear to be a self that is knowing or observing, does this indicate that Sakkayaditthi is still present? What is the most effective way to abandon this subtle sense of atta? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. Actually, you understand anatta, right? Clearly. About you may remember types of comparisons, right? For example, samuhagana, synthesis, or the comparisons of synthesis. I mean, if we have known all the namas arise together, taking the same object, right? Then we also know many things, many factors or many working together. The definition of anatta, as long as you cannot break down the synthesis, you cannot have very long version of anatta. This is the pattern we have to show. For about the relation.
Sarah, we can't really hear you. Sarah?
Okay. Okay, can you hear now?
Yes. Yeah, the last two parts we can't hear clearly.
So that means then it was the same, and the second part also the same, right? Sakkayaditthi, when we are observing. When we can break down synthesis components, then we sense of anatta. So the main thing is that we have to break down all the components to understand anicca, dukkha, anatta clearer. Okay, it will be perfect. Next one. The next question.
Next question. Chinese question.
礼敬下多，无我的五种特相，应当依次观修，还是可以在深入观禅中自然现起？萨度萨度萨度。
Okay, in the very beginning, we just recommend to do this in order. Right? Otherwise, you can. So let's okay, you can also do obvious one. It's okay. Next one.
礼敬下多，观修事实思维法对真无涅槃有多大的助力？深入观察无常、苦、无我这三法，如何能直接帮助断除烦恼？如实知见是圣地。萨度萨度萨度。
Actually, that we just talk about potato, right? Actually, there are many other explanations. Yeah, we don't mention anything about asubha, right? It's dukkha, anatta. Actually, there are also six conditions of asubha. That means there are simple door. Okay. Then it will be mentioned there are different types, many different way of approach in different knowledges. Okay, that means the main thing is to confirm our understanding, to make it clearer and clearer. For example, you try to climb mountain, in the mountains or mountain cliff, right? It's very steep. You cannot climb up easily. You need to find a way to climb up a little bit easier path. Okay, similarly, now if anicca, dukkha, three, sometimes we don't understand correctly. That's why we have to do ways to make our understanding deeper and then clearer. Okay, that's why it's also important to do. So if we can and then deeper. Of course, our insight knowledge become mature, or it will become faster. Okay, next one. Any other question?
Seattle, no more questions.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So, dear Dhamma brothers and sisters, if you have any question, you can send to the chat group. Any more questions from the participants?
No more.
Okay. Cyril, we don't have any more questions. Shall we proceed to close today's session? Cyril?
Okay.
Cyril? Cyril, shall we proceed to close the session today? Okay. Sadhu, 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 Cyril. Thank you very much for your teaching today, and thank you, our interpreter Bhante, for the translation. May we invite Cyril to lead us in making aspiration and sharing of merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Raja amehi sambadam punya sambadam tabedwa numodu buddha numodandu tabbe satta numodandu tabba sambadi siriya hidame nyatinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo hodu Sukhita hondu nyadayo idame nyadinam hodu Sukhita hondu nyadayo idame bunyam asawaya waham hodu idame bunyam anasa bajayo hodu amabuya bagam savasatanam bajemi te sabe Maggāmaggañāṇadassanavisuddhi.
Thank you, Sayadaw, and everyone for your time and participation. Till we meet the next Saturday, may all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.